Welcome to Sandata's mainframe survey results. During Q4 2018 and Q1 2019, Sandata Technologies conducted a survey to assess the state of DevOps as a practice on the mainframe. The next few minutes will summarize the most important findings of the survey. So if you want to know what is the state of DevOps adoption within the mainframe ecosystem, tune in. Just before we start, let us tell you a bit about how we conducted the survey and a little bit about us. Sandata is a global niche consultancy that focuses on DevOps and mainframe. The name Sandata in Old Sanskrit means putting two things together to get something much bigger. For us is to put DevOps and mainframe in order to remove waste, reduce cost, and bring quicker changes to the market. Our approach to work with our customers is of an enablement and partnership rather than a traditional SI one. We focus on what we do best, which is DevOps on the mainframe rather than fulfillment and augmentation of roles. We serve the biggest and most complex organizations, mainly banks and financial services enterprises all over the globe. In terms of methodology, it's important to note we are not Gartner or an academic institution. We conducted his survey to decide where we should focus our investment and our resources in order to help business to progress their DevOps on the mainframe journey. Therefore, there may be some biases which I will point out to you. We had about 250 respondents of either mainframe professionals or people that work closely with the mainframe business unit. We reached out to people via channels we know such as LinkedIn, user groups, used our customer base, and our network of partners. The survey was comprised of 23 questions. Some were single choice, some were open-ended, and some were multiple choices. So in some cases the sum of options is greater than 100%. We intend this to be a rolling survey annually so we can measure the progress of where the market is on an annual basis. In terms of locations, the majority of our respondents came from EMEA and the Americas due to our access to customers in this region and the majority of where our network is. In terms of sectors, again, due to our network and customer base, the majority of respondents were banks and insurance companies, but we also got some good samples from retails, telco, healthcare, and even the government sector. So the first bunch of questions were around the DevOps readiness, and we categorized it around organization, process, and technology. In terms of organization, we wanted to understand what are the business and IT drivers for organizations to look into DevOps in the first place. The results show the number one driver is the time to market, the ability to release quicker changes to the market. The second driver is the cost of the change, so to bring quicker changes and to reduce the cost of change. Coming at third is the desire to reduce reliance on niche skills. The aging of the mainframe workforce has been discussed a lot, and we see a clear indication that the market is embarking on DevOps practices to automate what is possible in order to reduce the reliance on such resources. In terms of culture, whether the mainframe business unit is insular, working independently, or whether it is fully integrated to the rest of the business, the survey results indicated that the mainframe business units are not completely segregated from the rest of the business units. There is some level of collaboration, but the units work independently, with no shared goals and outcomes, which is one of the hinders of DevOps implementations. With regards to the biggest organizational challenges, governance came at the top. Mainframe network availability stands at 99.999%. And in order to achieve that, the governance of the release process is complex, multi-layered, centric, and goes all the way to the top of the organization. Culture and mindset are another big challenge. In so many cases where we engage in consultancy, we hear the argument, why should we change? Or, it worked well for so many years, so why change it now? Although there are clear answers to why they should change from the business objectives, it takes the mindset and culture some time to catch up with it. In terms of process readiness, it is clear that waterfall is still king in every aspect of release to production. Therefore, from readiness point of view, the focus for first phase should be around increasing the numbers of releases per year or month, rather than continuous delivery. Waterfall also supports disconnected process and lack of integration between different stages. For example, many of the organizations surveyed outsource their testing to a third party that usually sits in a different continent. They're not always working to the same shared goals. In most cases, there is a strict commercial agreement and deadlines rather than focus on increased collaboration, quality, and productivity. Therefore, it's not surprising to see that the SDLC is complex and in many cases is manual. When we are consulting organizations, we start with integrating the process as much as possible in order to increase the adoption of DevOps on the mainframe. Many times we see that a piece of paper and physical signature is still the main governance technology in order to promote a change into production. Cases like this can easily be automated with a significant elimination of wasted time, even without much change of the process. The impact of waterfall and disconnected process is clear. The change lead time is in months. There are fewer releases to production in comparison to distributed systems. And there is relatively large number of defects and rework that goes on. Disconnected process and waterfall methodology means shift left is harder to achieve, and the focus is on defect detection rather than increase of quality for all stages of the process. In terms of toolchain, we looked into what are the main tools the market uses in order to assess their DevOps readiness. We looked into 4 categories as part of the toolchain: build, deploy, test, and release. Changeman, ISPW, and Endeavor are the most common tools used for build. Any organization that looks into integrated process would need to spend some effort to open these tools for integration. In terms of deploy, Urban Code and Zibia XLD joins ESPW, Endeavor, and Changeman at the top places. In terms of testing, Selenium comes first, mainly due to the manual end-to-end testing most organizations do. CA Dev Test, Strobe, Code Coverage, and HPALM are the dominant mainframe technologies in this space. And finally, in terms of releases, ISPW, Changeman, Urban Code, Endeavor, and Zebia XLD dominate this space. Looking to the future, what organizations are looking to achieve in terms of the toolchain? The technical challenges are around the technical debt and the knowledge of the code base, which is quite normal for a 40+ years old technology. Off-the-shelf CI/CD tools is also clearly important to the market. Rather than building release scenarios independently, the survey respondent indicated clear need for an off-the-shelf solution that will also include some best practices, templates, etc. Looking at the current level of automation, most organizations are at the build and deploy. This is not surprising, as in many cases build and deploy is supported by the existing tools. Automated unit testing is where most of the market is either trying to get to or already at. Automation of seat, non-functional and end-to-end testing is almost non-existent, and therefore the next big thing that most mainframe businesses will seek in order to progress their DevOps journey. Let's look at it from a different angle. What are the practice most organizations already implemented or in the process of implementing? Unit testing is where the market is. Release pipeline, end-to-end test automation and service virtualization are still practices in early state. Automated TDM as part of a toolchain is almost non-existent. At Sandata, we call it the next adoption level of DevOps, or phase 2 of readiness, meaning when the market starts looking into integrated TDM, into CI/CD processes, we can start discussing the move from waterfall into agile and continuous deployment. To summarize, these are our key industry observations from the survey in terms of readiness and key drivers, divided into culture, process, and technology categories. In terms of top challenges to bring DevOps into the mainframe, testing and QA is too slow and ineffective with lack of automation, more emphasis on catching issues when compared to preventing quality issues. SDLC process are unnecessarily serialized and mostly manual and with wastage between handoffs. Little or no shift left practice. Culture in mainframe teams is aligned to waterfall with lack of joint ownership, shared goals, and generally not integrated with the rest of the organization. Nature of the technology and current governance model makes it difficult to introduce changes, improvements, and lean agile processes. Mainframe environments and data are often the bottleneck for business agility. Lack of automation and convoluted processes are the key reasons. Hybrid specialists with both mainframe and DevOps skills are scarce and often become a bottleneck to deliver the improvements and transformation objectives. That's it. We hope you find this useful. If you have any comments or questions, we welcome you to use the Contact Us form on our website. You can also use this form if you'd like to be part of the next round of the survey questionnaire.